Let's talk about something nobody wants to deal with, water damage. It's one of those nightmare scenarios you hope it never, ever happens to you. But if it does, wow, it's sudden, it's pure chaos, and every single second matters. So today, we're going to break down what really happens when water gets into your home, and more importantly, what the critical steps are to get it under control.
I want you to just picture this for a second. You're at home, you hear a weird noise, you head downstairs, and there it is. Water is just pouring into your basement. That instant feeling of panic just floods over you, right? What do? Who are you supposed to call? What on earth happens now? This isn't some movie scene. It's a reality for so many people. And believe me, the choices you make in that very next hour, they are going to define everything.
All right, so let's dive right in. How did these disasters even kick off? Because, they really do come in all shapes and sizes. And a lot of the time, they give you absolutely zero warning. Yeah, the causes can be really dramatic. I mean, think about a pipe bursting in the middle of a winter freeze. We're talking hundreds of gallons of water just gushing out in minutes. But they can also be super sneaky, like a slow leak from your washing machine hose that starts while you're at work, just silently spreading through your walls and floors. From sump pumps giving up the ghost during a huge storm to a nasty sewer backup, honestly, the potential sources are everywhere. And here's something that's really wild. Where you live can seriously crank up your risk. Let's take a place like Springfield, Illinois, as an example. Its soil is heavy with clay, right? So it holds on to moisture like a giant sponge, basically funneling rainwater right towards house foundations. Then you throw in those brutal freeze-thaw cycles that love to crack pipes, plus some aging city infrastructure, and boom, you've got yourself a perfect storm for water damage. Okay, so this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most critical period in any water emergency, that first hour. Seriously, this is where the entire battle is won or lost. And that's not just some random number we pulled out of a hat. 60 minutes is the gold standard for professional response time. The goal, the absolute mission, is to get certified technicians to your door within 1 hour of your call. Why? To shut off the source, figure out what's going on, and stop that water from causing even more damage. In this situation, time is absolutely your biggest enemy. So what really happens in that hour? Well, let's be honest, the typical DIY response usually starts with panic, right? You grab every towel you own, maybe you drag out the old shop vac. The trouble is, that's just not going to cut it. You're totally missing the moisture that's already soaked into the walls and under the floor. And you could be putting yourself at risk for something serious, like an electrical shock. Now, compare that to a professional team. They show up, immediately check for safety hazards, and then they bring out the big guns, industrial pumps that can pull out thousands of gallons of water. And they have the tech to find all that hidden water before it has a chance to turn into a massive mold problem. Okay, so the visible water is gone. You can breathe a sigh of relief, right? The worst is over. Well, not exactly. Now we get into the really technical part. This is where science takes over to literally pull every last drop of moisture out of your house to stop long-term rot and decay from setting in. And this is no time for guesswork. The pros follow a really strict, methodical process. First thing they do is assess everything. What's the source? How contaminated is the water? Are there any safety issues? Then comes the extraction. But after that, the most critical part starts. They bring in all this specialized equipment for what's called structural drying. And they don't just pack up and leave. They monitor everything with moisture meters until every single material, the drywall, the wood frame, everything is back to its official dry standard. So let's really dig into what that means, structural drying. Because we're not just talking about aiming a fan at a wet spot. This is a full-on science. It's all about using carefully placed, high-powered air movers and massive dehumidifiers to create the specific environment that literally forces the building materials of your house, the wood studs inside your walls, the subfloor, even the concrete, to release all that trapped moisture. It's the only way to prevent rot and mold from showing up later. It's also super important to get this. Not all water is the same. The pros actually classify it into 3 different categories. You've got category 1, that's clean water, like from a broken water pipe. Minimal health risk there. Then there's category 2, or gray water. Think water from an overflowing washing machine. It's got some gunk in it. But category 3, that's black water. And that is the really serious stuff. We're talking sewage backups, flood water from outside. It's a genuine biohazard. It requires completely different safety gear and means pretty much anything it touches has to be thrown out. So, how can you be sure the team you call actually knows how to handle all this? Well, this quote really nails it. You have to look for certifications, like from the IICRC. And that's not just some fancy sticker for their van. It's proof. It's proof that these technicians are trained in the science of drying and that they follow the strict industry-wide standards that, by the way, insurance companies know and trust. All right, so after all that science, everything is officially, verifiably dry. Awesome. But your house probably still looks like a disaster zone. So now we move into the final phase, putting your home back together and, of course, tackling that mountain of insurance paperwork. Let's talk about the money, because I know you're wondering. The costs can be all over the map. A little leak from a sink that's caught quickly, you might be looking at a few $1,000s. But a major basement flood, especially if it's that nasty contaminated water we talked about, you're going to have to tear out drywall and flooring, and that can easily climb past $10,000. It really all comes down to three things: how much water, how dirty it was, and how long it sat there. But here's a really crucial point. You don't have to face that bill or the insurance adjuster by yourself. A huge part of what a pro team does is manage the claim for you. They literally speak the insurance company's language. They provide all the detailed documents, the photos, the moisture readings, everything that's needed to prove what happened and get your claim approved and paid without all the frustrating back and forth. So what happens if you wait? Or what if you try to dry it all yourself and, just miss a spot? Let's talk about the aftermath, because the biggest dangers, the real dangers, are the ones you can't even see, the ones that are just brewing behind your walls. And this timeline, wow, it's pretty scary. In just 24 to 48 hours, mold starts growing. 1 week. In just 1 week, the wood framing of your house can actually start to rot. Your drywall swells up and starts to crumble. And if you let it go for weeks or months, you're talking about real structural damage. The message could not be clearer. The longer water sits, the more it destroys, period. And that really brings us to the final and most important question. Your floor might feel dry to the touch, but is your home truly safe? See, without that scientific, documented process, you can never, ever be 100% sure that there isn't hidden moisture silently feeding a mold colony or slowly weakening the bones of your house. And that's why this is all so important. Proper restoration isn't just about getting rid of the water. It's about making sure your home is actually safe for you and your family for years to come.